Thanks everyone for joining. With me is Lieutenant Colonel Paul Bellis from Army Headquarters. We'll do quick introductions in a sec. The point of today is to give you some more information about the Cyber Warrior program that you all kindly expressed interest and curiosity in over the last sort of 2.5 weeks. So thanks for giving up your time and jumping on. We're going to cover some of the basics about what the idea is, how Army's thinking, how With You With Me plugs into that system, and then really we want to spend the bulk of the allocated time to answer some of the questions you might have, and also learn a few things about what you might be thinking to help us fully form future aspects of the idea. So I'll let Paul introduce himself. Thanks, Paul.
G'day everyone, Paul Bellis. I work in Army Headquarters in the Directorate of Force Structure Army. My background is RAMI, aeronautical engineer, grew up on helicopters, CAS-G time, and then more recently in the people and organisation space within Army. My current role is as the establishments and plans for Force Structure Army, which defines the roles and establishment across Army and our force dispositions in order to reveal and achieve future capability. And I'll let Tom introduce himself as well.
Most of you would know who I am, so Head of Customer Success at With You With Me. Many of you I've probably met at various events over the years, and now working as With You With Me's lead on this entire Army project, of which the cyber bit is one key component. Some quick kind of organizational things. Feel free to post questions in the chat as we're going. I've only got 4 slides that Paul and I are going to talk to. So post questions and then I'll go back and sort of facilitate and go through and answer your questions. And then if we need to, feel free to jump into the room. I can unmute you and we can talk about it and we'll just go from there. So thanks very much. This is all about a road to a contingent workforce for Army. So Paul will give the overall brief in a second, but here's a quote from JCU, and it's the heart of what this program's for, which is thinking about Australia's security holistically and therefore wanting to support Army through a contingent workforce and also an industry model. So we're also doing presentations like this with some companies and organizations that are going to support the program as well. But in the same light, this program is open for individuals, hence why we're doing the webinar and the expression of interest to all of you. So we'll go through both aspects now. Thanks, Paul.
I guess we did a project at the back end of last year that was centred around the reserves and contingent workforce. And what we discovered through that body of work was there is a large volume of veterans who have obviously left full-time service, but are now doing cool and crazy and amazing things across a multiple number of different domains. And we came across countless examples where we have veterans that were drivers, they were tank crewmen, they were infantry, and now they are working in industry in cyber, or they have the strong aptitude and potential to work in something like cyber as an example. So as part of a program of work that we commenced this year, we are looking at how we may better understand our contingent workforce. And we're also looking at some more flexible opportunities or flexible employment opportunities in order to drive some change through Army with actions in order to influence some behaviours, reform some cultural aspects, and then nest with the Chief's strategy. As part of that, we're conducting an establishment trial under the Deputy Chief of Army's authority. And with that is 2 units, one joint cyber unit and the other one is 7SIG, where we are looking to explore opportunities, and the people side of this is particularly of interest as it relates to cyber. So the slide that you see in front of you sort of is the plan on a page. It's our current frame of the problem space. We need to nationally look at increasing our cyber resilience, and there's a number of programs. This particular program doesn't seek to, it complements any of the existing ones. It doesn't seek to compete with, and nor is this necessarily a recruitment drive, but rather a discussion to look at how our future understanding of the problem set can be reframed. There are a number of benefits from a people perspective, and there's also benefits from an army, and then benefits from a national perspective as we step through this this program. And some of the benefits you'll see up there on the screen, but we're really trying to look at, and what we found through the Contingent Workforce Program last year is when Army has previously advertised a job, we may not necessarily have advertised the exciting parts of that particular job, and we may have advertised it only to an internal audience who happened to be on ForceNet or something like that. Whereas when we took the people-based approach and asked for what your individual value proposition might be, we found that that unlocked a number of opportunities internal to Army, and some that we weren't even aware we needed. And a few examples that come to mind, Army is looking at replacing a number of corporate enterprise systems. We clearly don't have that talent in the ranks that have experience with some corporate programs like SAP. But by asking a reframed question of what is the value proposition for some individuals, we had a number that wrote to us and were like, hey, I'm highly skilled in SAP. Do you think you could use my skills? And that was a much easier problem to solve because there was 2 or 3 organizations that we needed to go to. And hey, this is Bill. Bill has got these skill sets. Hey, that's Bill is exactly what I think we need. We didn't even know we needed Bill. We knew we had a problem, but now we have a mutually beneficial solution that works for both parties. There are some benefits for...
People love SAP.
Yeah. There are some benefits for industry in terms of creating a community, access to some training, access to training that you may not typically be able to get access to or participation in exercises, either hack the box, if we're talking cyber, or capture the flag or something like that. But really leveraging what experience industry has and perhaps supplementing it with what Army might be able to provide. And that could be as simple as in your day job, in industry, you are a manager, but on the Army side, maybe you'd like to get back on the tools for a little bit, and that will help you with your day job, but it also, your day job actually helps Army because maybe we needed some of the latest and greatest business acumen or commercial experience to then reframe our internal thinking. The benefits for Army is we really are using cyber as a vignette or as the example, which has some cross-domain, it has multi-agency, it has across the joint spectrum. There's a lot of interest on it, which means there's a lot of existing streams and talent pipelines and marketing and capability development programs, and a lot of interest internal to Army. And if we can find some people to facilitate and use as examples to unlock some of the policy that might be hindering this sort of a capability, then that's one of the key outcomes from an organizational perspective that we're looking for. There are the others in terms of bolstering national resilience. There's others in terms of having a ready workforce that's enabled in a similar proposition to what bushfire assist might have been, but from a cyber perspective. I won't pretend to be an expert in the cyber domain. My interest here is on the people side and the organisation side, and facilitating a solution for our cyber experts who are represented in this trial as our 2 commanding officers of JCU or 7 SIG. What else do I need to cover, Tom?
So I think to, I guess, summarise a little bit, many of you are here because you're either a veteran that's already transitioned out into industry and you're working, probably in cyber, or you're in industry and you're thinking about working in cyber, or you're about to transition and maybe you're considering whether you can do an internal move and move in cyber within Army or something of those scenarios. What Paul's saying is Army realises that it can't fill its cyber capability just through ab initio recruitment. And now it knows that because of the journeys that many of you have had, there's skilled veteran talent sitting in industry that it would love to be able to tap back into and offer different styles of employment opportunities. And those different styles are very, very diverse. And we'll probably have some Q&A on exactly that topic shortly. So many of you are probably wondering how you fit in, and we're going to talk through that in a section. I might jump to our slide and then explain how we plug in. So many of you know what With You With Me does already. Many of you have come through our programs and seen our training or been part of that. So that's exactly how With You With Me sits into this trial. There's 3 areas that we're working on. One is attracting the right skilled talent in industry that are veterans typically, hence why you're here, and connecting you back to Army to allow Army to see what's out there and then understand the data. So we're building the bench, if you like. And then we're going to do a ground up approach to showing Army what exists in industry and help then the decision makers figure out how they would like to employ you and on what sort of levels. The second piece is there's a training component. So we want to enable people that are in the program to be able to access all sorts of different types of training based on what Army's needs are, and we're the platform to help them do that, not necessarily the trainer, because there's a long list of different skills that are required across all the different levels for what Army needs. So think marketplace. And then finally, the matching piece. So when we get down and it's up and running and we want to get some use cases, think about Army's going to have some opportunities that open up, just call them jobs or tasks if you like. And through the With You With Me platform that you're already on, we'll be able to match your skill set and availability to those tasks to allow Army to interact with you and you to express interest and connect the 2 organizations. And that's how With You With Me sits in. So we're really the platform that's connecting your part of industry back into Army. Is that about everything?
I think it's a good summary.
So before I jump into the questions, and there'll be plenty, that's fine, just so you know kind of what's next, and I ask that you kind of be a little bit patient. So many of you have gone through our sign-up process when you joined With You With Me. We will have some additional things that we'll be asking for you or from you for people who would like to opt into this program. And at any point you can opt in and opt out. It's okay. It's just kind of open because it's a trial. So we'll be grabbing some other information from you about what you've been doing right now, what your current job is, what your current certifications and skills are, what your availability would be, some of that sort of stuff. That's going to be ready to go in the next couple of weeks. So we'll put some more marketing out from our team about when you should register and opt in and fill out those additions to your profile. And then we'll be inputting and showing some of that data in an anonymized fashion to Army to say, look at all these talented people that are sitting in industry that want to support and still want to contribute. And then that's going to be enough groundswell to formalize them to make some decisions around how they could get some use cases and get you working in Army. So just kind of, I guess, wait out a little bit for some more information from us, but we might jump into the questions. The other thing I'll say is we're keen for ideas as well. So we don't have all the answers yet, and feel free to send those straight through to me and we can consolidate and come back if you've got a good idea on how this might work or an opinion on the topic.